annual workshop, and we come out every year to kind of introduce every season, get everyone involved. And how many first-time competitors possibly do we have in the room? So quite a few. This workshop is really, to kind of introduce things, how the NPC works, and we have a lot of different speakers here today. Myself being on the bodybuilding side, but first of all, I want to thank Steve and his staff and everyone that's involved in the show. Everyone knows the East Coast Mecca. I mean, this is a place to train out here. I've been out actively training out here for many, many years and coming out to a lot of Steve's shows, and I've been fortunate enough to team up in Massachusetts and do a couple of shows with him and everyone that's involved with those contests. So it's a huge opportunity for me to be out here. I grew up on the East Coast, lived in Las Vegas, but started my journey at 18 years old as a teenage competitor. Back then, strictly men's and women's bodybuilding. And now we've transitioned into all different arenas, all different types of physiques, and as you've seen with the NPCs, expanded now into many, many new divisions, and obviously there's certain criteria that they're looking for. But what I can basically say to everyone, number one, it's huge that you guys are here to interact, okay? And I encourage a lot of you to communicate with the people sitting next to you, or get familiar, because those are people that might be alongside you for the ride, that if you're first competing or if you have been competing, meeting many new friends. I mean, you spend a lot of time backstage at these shows. They're lengthy. I mean, back when I started, a big show was like 100 competitors. Now you have shows in the 500s. It's crazy. You go to the Nationals, the USAs, or Team Universe, or you got 1,000 people plus competing at those shows. And I mean, when I won my pro card at the US Nationals, there was 250 total people competing in the show, and that was huge at that time. So this thing's transitioned quite a bit. We've seen, on the men's side, not only bodybuilding, but men's physique, classic physique, women's side with bikini, figure, physique, of course, and a lot of criteria has changed year to year. But most importantly, what I can stress to everyone sitting in this room, working on the posing is super important. The transitional, the comfortability on stage, okay, how you present yourself is key. Okay, and Steve's going to highlight some of the stuff that they kind of look for on the judging side, but I think you have to, I always tell everyone the best advice I can give is be comfortable, learn the poses, learn the transitions, and practice, okay, because they're going to call mandatory poses, they're going to expect certain transitions on stage, and that's really what, is going to be kind of how your flow is going to be. Standing on stage and competing next to other competitors, showing your strong points and hiding your weaknesses, because no matter what level, and I can state that even beyond the Mr.Olympia stage many years, we all have weaknesses. But it's best to showcase the strong points and really show what you have, because everyone has something special to their physique, otherwise you wouldn't be standing on stage. Conditioning matters, of course, but show those strong points and try to transition to hide the weaknesses, but not overly to the point where it's obvious, right? Who wins on stage, or who gets second or third, usually the people that have the least amount of flaws or hide the best, okay? So, what we're going to do today is we'll have a few people, but I'll talk a little bit about my career and how I got started. I was just a kid at 18 years old. I was making the transition to going to college. I started weight training, and what I found during that time in the gym and training is it was more of a mental thing for me. I forgot about all my stresses at 18. My family wanted me to go into concrete work, my family business. I was going to school to be a police officer. Someone said, hey, you should compete in this show. I really didn't know what it was about. First time I got on stage, I went through the whole routine of dieting for 12 weeks, I think. Stood on stage. I loved the lights and the people cheering for me, and I was hooked from then on. Transpired into teenage bodybuilding champion at 19, earning my pro card pretty young age, 23, and never imagining it would take me to the level it took me to win the Mr.Olympia. I used to look at the magazines, which was our only outlet at the time. We didn't have social media, which nowadays everyone has so much more advantage. These kind of workshops, I mean, this didn't exist. There were very few shows, and I was able to, start, learning the process, learning the business of bodybuilding, get guest appearances, creating a brand for myself, and now today, any of you people that follow me know that, I've created all these opportunities throughout my life with the sport of bodybuilding, and being retired now 5 years. I've been stepped away from the stage 5 years ago. I'm still more involved, I think, now than I even was then. And it's a blessing for me. It's an honor to stand here and be able to be someone that can represent the NPC and the IFBB for people like yourself that's striving to be there. Because there are people in this room, male, female, that are going to be future superstars in our business. So I wish you guys all the very best, and I'm going to pass the mic and let this thing continue to roll. But any questions you guys have, feel free to ask. I don't know if we're going to do the questions at the end. I don't really want to get going too much with the questions, but as you absorb a little bit of the information, I encourage you guys to ask questions, okay? There's no stupid question sometimes. Okay, so feel free to ask the questions, okay? I encourage you, and hopefully I'll get to shake hands and take pictures with some of you people that didn't get a chance already, okay? So thank you once again for coming out and participating in our annual seminar here. Appreciate it. My best pose is when I beat Ronnie, all of them. No, it was, obviously Ronnie was crazy from the backside, but, my back did come up enough where I felt like I was competitive with Ronnie, and obviously he was battling some injuries at the time, but, I always thought from the front I was strong. Abs and thighs, just standing there. My legs always had great separation. That was ideal for me. Lat spread. My width was my advantage, right? So I always tried to, like I talked about, showcasing your strong points. When I always stood there, I had great presence on stage, and that's the guy that takes up a lot of space and has good enough symmetry and condition usually is an advantage to win. I would consider 2009 one of my best wins. It was definitely in my heart. I felt that it was kind of redemption. I lost in 8 and came back in 9 in great condition. I felt, I was pretty strongly a winner there. I really didn't have as much competition as the years passed. But listen, Ronnie wasn't there anymore. And as, Arash mentioned, I was run up to Ronnie 4 times. I got tired of that shit, It gets pretty frustrating with the same person all the time. But I came back and over and over and over, and I knew eventually I would win one way or another, and I did. So. We didn't hate each other. We actually traveled, did a lot of guest appearances. We actually trained together quite a bit. And we had a great relationship, but we didn't talk backstage when the show came about. A lot of money at stake, right? So there was a lot of battles based on, a lot of rides on the contest when you're at that level, especially with the endorsements. And, the magazines more created a big drama sensation between the two of us than we really were friendly, because Ronnie's just a very humble guy, a lot like I am with his career. So where he always thought he was never going to be beaten, I always thought I was going to win too. I went to every show thinking I was going to win. I never thought I would ever go into the Mr.Olympia thinking I was going to lose. Every year I thought that, even when I was last, I was second last. So I think, Juan, you were second to last then, was what you decided on that first show, right? I was second to last on my first Mr.Olympia contest. I was 15 out of 16, and I wanted to quit, but I came back and moved up to 8th, and then I was second before I won the title. Okay. His question was if I came back harder when I lost to Ronnie. I think for me, I kind of stuck to what my game plan was. No question, I watched his training videos, and we were very limited back then. There was no YouTube or that kind of stuff. So I actually paid attention. Okay, if I want to improve, I need to, train a little heavier, harder. And I put myself in Las Vegas. I was, grew up in Massachusetts, moved to California to pursue my career on a bigger level. And then I moved to Vegas to be in a 24-hour city with a lot of gyms to train at. So I put myself in specialized equipment to be able to train, but I never stayed away from the core exercises. If you look back at all my training stuff, I still stuck to the deadlifts and the T-bar rows and, you know, bent barbell rows. I did a lot of free weights, even though we had a change with all the advancement of hammer strength and all different types of equipment. I feel today, a lot of guys don't focus on the core as much as they should, the core training. You know, you see so many variations and you see so many opinions on, okay, this is what you do. But listen, I mean, it's the meat and potatoes of what we do to advance. And I think I didn't come back with the mindset, oh, I want to train harder and harder because I'm losing. I just had a vision at the end, and that was to be the best in the world at one point. But more importantly, I was focused on becoming what I've become now, and still continue to be an ambassador and be a business guy and create opportunity for the younger generation and people that are new into the sport to come in to be able to advance and learn from people like myself, or like a lot of us up here. We leave a legacy, right? We all want to be looked upon as what later? And I wanted to be looked upon, you know, maybe not to Steve, the greatest Mr. Olympia, but I wanted to be one of the best to go down in history. Okay? That's just because I'm here. Not true. Off season, I would eat more steak and chicken breast. So for me, I was always kind of more of a low-fat diet. I didn't add a lot of fats to my diet, so I would eat 5 pounds of fish a day because I was eating a pound every sitting. So, and I was also, I mean, I was a high-calorie dieter because of my size. Remember, I competed between, you know, 255 and 265, right? So, you know, on average day I'd eat, you know, 400 grams of protein at least, and, you know, upwards between 600 and 1,000 carbs a day on a diet. I know a lot of you hate hearing that, but that's what it was. I mean, listen, you can get lean on any amounts of food depending on what your output is, but there were times I did a lot of contests and I didn't focus on a ton of cardio. I would train rather twice a day, do a large body part in the morning, smaller one in the afternoon. Advantage of being a professional bodybuilder and being paid to do it, right? So I did do cardio up to 2 hours a day. Some shows it varied. Every single contest I dieted on 50 grams of carbs a day. I've tried every diet there is, and I had to learn what worked best for my body. And I can tell you, between all the years of battling, even at the lower levels, you know, amateur levels to professional ranks, I mean, everything, I never did the same thing every year. Okay, so even Mr. Olympia wins, it was never just, okay, I'm going to go back to what I did last year, because you gain a pound or two of muscle, it makes a huge difference in the food that you take in. But I suggest anyone, a whitefish, I think Steve would agree with that. We talk about that often as he was judging me, and always told me, listen, you need to come in better shape. He was always under, you know, being an expert to critique my physique and being like, listen, you're just not coming hard enough. And he can probably tell you the years against Ronnie, I just wasn't hard enough to beat him. And eventually I was able to grab the condition and stay on top. Yes? Angelica. Listen, I've always preached kind of the high volume training. It always worked best for me. It was what I started with and ended with my career. It's a lot safer, but listen, everyone's going to train different, and you can trick your body. You can't always do the same thing. Although, I can tell you guys, when I went to the gym and trained every week, I would train a body part once every 5 to 7 days, right? Your body usually needs, you know, 72 hours rest between a body part if you're going to train it again. 10 to 12 is just it actually was 8 to 12 was a broad range, and I always fell between that. Not to say that I didn't go to 15 sometimes or did deadlifts for 6 reps. It just seemed to work out. It's just bodybuilding terms, okay? 1 or 2 repetitions, you can train like that, but to train as a bodybuilder and have the advancement of muscle, roundness, and fullness, you do need repetitions, okay? Because tearing those fibers and then rebuilding it, and obviously following a strict diet. The diet, the diet really plays a huge part in it. Anyone can go in the gym and train any kind of strenuous activity, putting the muscle under tension, getting out of the gym and feeding it, that's super, super important. So we talk about anyone eating, you know, every 2.5 to 3 hours. Anyone that works out should do that, even a normal person to function. So it usually falls about 5 or 6 meals a day. I mean, I've eaten 8 to 10 meals a day. Okay, I've gotten in the middle of the night and eaten. You've seen the videos with that stuff because I wanted to win so bad. But everyone's gonna have different rep ranges, but I can promise you everyone in this room, especially the successful people that made it to the upper levels, you know, we all train over 6 repetitions and sometimes train to 20. But it really comes down to, you know, you go in the gym, and I can promise you, every day is not a rock star workout, right? You're not gonna go in the gym and crush it week to week to week. You're gonna have days where I walked in the gym, even winning Mr. Olympia and training for Mr. Olympia, like, this is gonna be the shittiest workout ever, right? I don't wanna be here. Should I turn around? I've left the gym after 2 sets, okay? Even training for the biggest titles because it just wasn't clicking right. You have to listen to your body. You can't just go by, your trainer tells you, okay, this is your workout for the day. No one tells you how many repetitions you can do. Your body should tell you that. And on different days, if you were tired from the day before, you missed meals, or you did something strenuous outside of the gym, you have to adapt to that. Just like when I fly to events and I was training, you know, I was training with Ronnie even on the road. We would cruise. We wouldn't do anything crazy in the gym, no crazy weights, because we knew our bodies were under stress with the flying and dehydration. You have to adapt to the environment that you're surrounded in. So be smart, because in the end, you want to last a long time, right? So try to listen to what your body tells you, but be open-minded to try different things. Okay? I hope that helps.
Take care of your baby.
One off, 2 on, 1 off. That's how I usually train my schedule. So I'd only train 5 total days in 1 week's time, but it wouldn't be in a lot of sequence. But 3 days is a max that I could train when I needed a day.
Yeah, I've never done that. You try that out. Plus the stress right?
3 on, 1 off, 2 on, 1 off. That's how I train my body.